Guys, welcome back to Lothringer's Garage. Today we are going to be 3D scanning the rear of the 911. The goal of this is to capture the body geometry and figure out where we can start to build our rear suspension. I've tried to put together a couple ideas in my head, and each time I run into another issue. So the best thing that I could do besides putting on paper is to 3D scan it and bring it to my computer. And then I can sit there and play around with different suspension ideas, figure out where I want my pickup points at, where I want to build my mounts at, what those are going to look like. It's going to allow me to use Sencut Send to laser cut different brackets and things like that we're going to need to support the airbags. Figure out where we want to have the wheel in relation to the rear quarter panel and how far it's going to tuck up. So I know there's going to be a couple things we're going to end up still having to cut away in the body, but this is going to give me a pretty good idea of what we have to work with and sort of the amount of room that we have in 3D space to start to design and build some of this and plan it out. So let's go ahead and get into the equipment that I have and what we're going to be doing. So this is my Shining 3D Einstar. I got this on Black Friday last year. It was about $700, I believe. The only backdraw with this system compared to some of the newer, more expensive ones is it is cabled. The newer ones end up, you don't have to have a cable. They all have wireless capabilities. It doesn't rely on the hardware of the laptop to run. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be 3D scanning the rear of the car. So we went ahead and cut out the torsion tube here. We know that our 996 gearbox is gonna end up basically cutting into the body here. So let me walk around here real quick. We're gonna end up cutting this out here for the 996 gearbox to come in, and our transmission mount's gonna be right about here for the 996 gearbox. So what that means is we can't run a traditional torsion bar or even build mounts off of it. We're gonna end up having to figure something out to have one of the arms mount here if we wanna run like an arm style suspension. I've also been playing around with like a double A-arm suspension. And then as far as the back side of the car goes, we already cut out this side of the frame, and we need to be able to play within this wheel arcs. And I want to capture the geometry for the arcs so that I can make sure I center the wheel so that when we're trying to articulate the suspension in the 3D space, we kind of have a rough idea where everything's going to land. So the goal is to get this geometry, this fender lip here, and then some of the underlying for the floor pan, and then back here, so we kind of know how much space we have to work with and design around. So let's go ahead and we'll get the Einstar fired up. So I went ahead and launched our Shining 3D program. So we're going to do a new project group. We're reminded to calibrate. It's been 211 days. We say this one is rear 911. So we're going to be doing a large object. We want object mode. We're going to be doing hybrid. We'll keep the texture in there for now. Large resolution and confirm. So now this is the 3D scanning window that we have. There's a couple options here as far as how far away you are and things like that. There's a lot of videos online as far as setting up your scan settings. I do not scan professionally for 3D objects. This is just a hobby for me. So our goal is to get enough geometry to work off of. So we're gonna go ahead and get the phone set up on the jig and get the rear of this thing scanned. All right, so we got our Shining 3D Einstar, and so we're gonna go ahead, and I have the laptop recording as well, so we'll see how this works out. So right now you can see that we started doing our scan preview, so you can see the quality. Now this surface works really well for this because it is so textured, and by doing the texture scan allows us to keep lining everything up. So once we're happy with our preview and our settings, we can go ahead and press the center button again and actually start generating data. So the goal is really just to kind of get in here. You can see that red light. It's gonna tell us if we're too close or too far for what we're trying to do. This thing I think picks up data pretty quickly. You know, we're really just trying to get some basic data so that we can start planning around this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of move it like this, and we wanna get up into the cracks and crevices so we know how high we can get for building our suspension, what kind of articulation we're going to be able to get without modifying the floor pans. I'm also scanning this up here because it is going to give us some sort of frame of reference for kind of where our new support bars are going to be. So I'm kind of coming back here and grabbing the rear of the car, just kind of working around. I know the camera isn't going to give us the the best idea of what I'm doing here, but you'll be able to see it on the screen. So now that we've gotten pretty much underneath the car, I kind of want to come under here and get some more of the underpan so that we know where that surface is at. So now from here, we can go ahead and we want to grab something, and I'm going to move the camera a little bit as well so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So now we're going to kind of come out here, and I'm still trying to watch the laptop because we have some of the scan data, and we want to try and grab as much of this as possible so that we know kind of where our wheel well is going to lie, getting up inside here, up inside the fender. Have an idea where all of these edges are at in 3D space. So now we're going to come back to the other side, and I'm going to flip the camera around some more, and we're basically doing the same thing. So coming back over here, getting up underneath here, and starting to put it into 3D space. I'm really surprised we have not gotten anything failed yet on here. So we're going to go ahead and pause that. We'll see where we're at with the scan data. So let me grab this. And you kind of see, we're actually going to go ahead and flip to our recording on the laptop. So now we've kind of come in here, we can see some of our scan data. So we want to get the lip of where the wheel's riding at. We might want to get some more detail here up into the fender. We kind of have all this inside detail. We have nothing on the outside. I think our scan quality is looking pretty good for trying to build some suspension mounts. We have the whole bottom of the frame here. The floor pans came out pretty good. I like to go ahead and get some more detail here inside of the where that really doesn't matter. We get a little bit more detail there. Let's go to the other side and see. Same thing. So we have a little bit of our fender. So we're going to try and get some more of the quarter panel so we can actually put that into space. But this is looking pretty good. Alright guys, so we went ahead and we got the rear of the car scanned as you guys saw in the rest of the video. We've turned it into a mesh model and now it's been saved on my computer, so we go ahead and work with it in Fusion 360 and other programs. So that's going to allow us, like I said, to kind of start setting things up in 3D space, figuring out what it's going to look like before starting to spend money on materials and building it from scratch. So to me, that's just a good way how to work. I want to prove out the concept before committing to it. There's a lot of different ways that this could go. So I'm excited to be able to have something to model around and work with. So thank you guys for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, what everybody else tells you to do. Looking forward to kind of keep pushing through with this project and making some good progress on it. So thank you.